Hello all, in this particular tutorial, we will learn how to connect to IBM DB2 database from Microsoft Power BI desktop. Now, before you connect, you need certain bit of information. What you need is a DB2 server name. This is the machine name where the database is hosted. DB2 port, this is the database port, which would be typically 50001 or might differ or change in your environment. A database name, I'll be using sample database, which is provided along with the DB2, and a database username and password, which will be the username and password which will have the access to your database, or in my case sample database. Now before we proceed, let me tell you something. To connect to IBM DB2 data source, no additional software is required. Let me repeat, to connect to IBM DB2 data source, no additional software is required. Power BI has got integrated method to connect to IBM DB2 database. Now that we have seen this, let us begin the labs. So let's go to our Power BI. And let's launch the Power BI for desktop. So give it a few seconds for it to launch. Once that is launched, let's say get data from other data source. And then what we are going to do, click on database and let's click on IBM DB2 database. Let's say connect. And here we are going to give the server name. In my case, the server name is DB2. So this is not the DB2 database. This is the machine name or the host name or the PC name. And then the port, in my case, the database is running on 50001 and the database that we are going to connect is sample database. Let's click on OK. And then it prompts you for the credentials. Let's click on this database button or database section, and here give the username which has got the access to this particular sample database, username and password. Let's say connect, and as you can see, we are not getting connected. Let's give it a few seconds. Nothing is happening on the screen. It's not ready to connect. We can wait, but looks like nothing is happening. If it has to connect, it would have connected by now. So let's do something. Let's go back and let's say cancel. Let's say file. Let's say options and setting. Let's go to the data source settings. And here you can see that the data source that we created has appeared. You can either click on edit permissions or you can right click on it and you can say edit permissions. And here encrypt connection is present. Uncheck that and click OK and click close. Now let's go back and let's do the same thing again. So let's say get data to get started again. Database, IBM DB2 database, connect, and we will give the same information once again. So DB2 50001 sample, click OK, and now we will give the we don't have to give the username and password because it got already saved, and you can see we have successfully connected to our database. And now if I click on DBP, this schema, under this schema we got this employee table. You can click on this employee table. If you want to load the data, you can load the data, and then whatever transformation or graph that you want to do along with this particular data, you can do that. As you can see, we got the data, we got the employee number, birth, etc, etc. And if you want to draw the graphs, do whatever transformation that you want to do. So this was the short tutorial on how to connect to IBM DB2 database from the Power BI. As I mentioned before, you don't need an additional software. No additional software is required because Power BI has got integrated method to connect to the DB2 database. And if I want to show it to you, let me show it to you that I have not done any installation. Let's go to our control panel. Let's click on uninstall a program, and here you can see there is no special program for IBM DB2 such as the driver or client which was installed on this machine, which means that we were able to connect to IBM DB2 database without additional software from the Power BI. I hope this particular tutorial was useful. In this particular tutorial, we learned how to connect to IBM DB2 database from Power BI for desktop. If you did like the video, if you do like the content that I have uploaded, then do hit the like button, do hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching and see you in next tutorial. Till then, bye bye.